What is happening, YouTube? It is your boy Trev. I've got the microphone right up close to me, and I'm going to talk a little soft because it's kind of early for me, and everybody else in the house is still sleeping. So, I want to address some things that I've been hearing and some messages that have been coming in regarding ELMO, ERC, and MMA token, Meme Alliance. What what the team is doing, where the focus might be at, because there are some concerns. People bought into ELMO. Some people bought in early. Sorry, I told you it's early for me. Some people bought in early. Some people bought in real hard. And when MMA came out, right, Meme Alliance was talked about. Since then, there's been a lot of focus on it, and so some are concerned that ELMO is, dormant, being forgotten about, regardless of what the team says, as far as they won't forget about it. Some people don't have any confidence in that. But I think it really is a case of either not seeing the big picture or just a little bit maybe of a degen thing, expecting that ELMO was going to just go up really, really fast and you were going to make some money, and that's what it was going to be. But if you've been paying attention, even I've been telling you from the beginning that ELMO ERC was a meme coin that wanted to be more than a meme coin. Now, the path that the team has chosen is to develop a whole ecosystem, to be a contender, to be a player in the crypto market, because meme coins, as we've seen, if your eyes have been open, come and go, and they come and go in the blink of an eye sometimes. Very few of them have any staying power, and even those who have staying power sometimes go up really high. They've got a huge community, a lot of hype. It comes back down, and because the community was so big and there was so much hype, you're still holding on to the string. It's still kind of there, and you're waiting to see, can this thing have another run? Is it going to have another run? Yeah, it's going to have another run. So they hold on. They're still there. But we really don't know. We really don't know going into everything that we're coming up on what's going to happen to some of these. So the team, having the experience that they have, the length of time in this space, decided that the way to avoid that is, okay, come out during meme season, height of the Pepe hype and all that was going on, and launch ELMO. ELMO is another very memeable character. It's been memed for years now. So it was a great idea. Take advantage, get some attention right up front. Price went up pretty good, went up to like 3 cents, came back down, did what a lot of meme coins do. So now it could potentially just follow the path of some of these other meme coins and either just fade off into obscurity or kind of dangle and hang on and see, well, will it do something else? Maybe some people will hold it. Maybe some people will jump out of it into the next shiny thing. Who knows? But they didn't want that. They wanted to build something that would give longevity, which would give, that would give security, that would plant themselves in this market for the long term, be a long hold, okay? And so they've come up with this, again, ecosystem idea, and building a DEX or a DEX aggregator, which has been explained to me. One of the major differences is the liquidity pool. A DEX has its own liquidity pool. A DEX aggregator uses the liquidity pool of other exchanges, right? Other DEXs or whatever. But still, it's your own DEX, and you can kind of do what you want with it. If you want to do like an on-ramp or whatever, there are big plans for it. There's AI that is actually implemented into this DEX, which I don't think anybody has ever seen before, what it is that they're actually creating. But these things take a little time. We have the staking. We have all these other things that are going on. The ELMO is actually used by a company in certain parts of Europe. You can use it for currency. You can buy things with it. There's a whole lot that's still happening with Elmo. Elmo isn't going anywhere at all. But the big thing that they developed, and the first big thing of this ecosystem that will come out, is this GameFi game, this first-person shooter built on Unreal Engine 5 Meme Alliance. And this ecosystem will be built around Elmo, but it will be built around a lot of gaming as well. The GameFi sector, if you will, of crypto is huge. Gaming in itself is huge, is humongous. You guys probably know I have a couple sons who are gamers. One of them who did it professionally for years, had his own Twitch channel, and that's how he made his income. So I know how big gaming is, even if it's not something I'm necessarily into as much anymore at my advanced age. So Meme Alliance came out, and because of the deflationary nature of Elmo, they felt, and they were told by some people who've done this for a while, that they really needed a GameFi token. So they developed MMA. Now, both Elmo and MMA, you'll be able to make purchases in the game, in the ecosystem, and you'll be able to buy things for cheaper using either of these two tokens than you will any other token. And you know that you'll be able to use plenty of other tokens to make in-game purchases and trade and do different things within the ecosystem, within the games. So it's not being forgotten about there. But by building this ecosystem and building all these huge things around it, and always making sure that Elmo is the native token of the ecosystem, it will always be used for everything that is built, right? It will continue to whittle away at the supply. It's really just a matter of time for Elmo, okay? So Elmo's not forgotten about. It's not going to be forgotten about. I am going to make sure. I'll tell you, and they'll tell you too. I've asked them, listen, or I've told them, listen, when they tell me all these tremendous things that are being built for Meme Alliance and even some other projects that are in the works, and I tell them, don't forget about Elmo. We're not forgetting about Elmo. Never forget about Elmo. Elmo's our baby. Elmo will absolutely move along with everything else, okay? So, I mean, I understand from the point of view that some people wanted Elmo to move really fast. They wanted it to be the sole focus and nothing else to happen. But I also get the other part of it, that if you did that, it would be like every other meme token out there. It wouldn't really necessarily have an advantage over anything else, and we're building an advantage. It's going to take more time than maybe what you would have hoped. But this is what's going on. So if that is something that you want to be a part of, you want to be a part of really the excitement of what's being built here, which is really going to be big, then you'll stay. You'll stay with Elmo. You'll stay with MMA token. But if you want to go and chase the next shiny thing, then it is your money. Do whatever you want to do. I just watched a video. Matter of fact, I've watched probably a couple videos over the last week or two on the same kind of theme. And that is the people who are constantly selling out of this to go buy into that, and selling out of that to go buy into this, because this is moving right now. That's moving right now. This has been moving all week, but that hasn't moved at all. So I'm going to sell it and I'm going to jump into that thing. They get wrecked 9.9 times out of 10. We have people within Elmo that we know have sold Elmo, jumped into another meme coin that was moving. It's happened a couple times, and then that meme coin tanked. Or in one case that I can think of, ended up being a rug pull, right? It's not necessarily a good way constantly chasing that greener grass on the other side of the fence. You pick things that are solid, that have potential, real potential, not hype potential, real potential, and you stay with them, right? You jump in and you hold on, you trust the process. keep your eyes open. Watch what's going on. If you don't like what's happening, if you don't like the decisions that are being made, if all of a sudden things are looking shady, of course you got to get out of there. But none of that is happening with ELMO at all. All we've seen is strength and commitment from the team and constant building. For me, there's no reason to jump out of it. As a matter of fact, during these dips and these lows portions, when I can, after Christmas, when I can, I'll add more, right? And I've already got a bit. I've got quite a bit. I'll add more MMA, but that's just me. Don't necessarily have to follow what I do. These are just my opinions. All right, I want to show you something with MMA real quick. Let me see if I can find this and pull this up for you. So this is the MMA chart, and we've been on. If I were to draw a line, I'll draw another line. I drew a couple lines, and I'll tell you what those lines are that I drew. But let me draw another line real quick, right? If we came from here and went like this, it pretty much follows the line that I had. I really could have just extended that line out a bit, right? But you see that we have consistently made higher highs and higher lows, all right? But I'm going to get rid of this line for a second, and I'm going to show you some things that I'm not real big on chart reading. I'm not real big on charting. I know that people rely on it, okay? But I always know that a chart only shows you what already happened. It can't show you what is about to happen. Now, you can look at what's already happened. You can look at trends and things like that and try to figure out what might happen and maybe have a better chance of coming up with what might happen, but you absolutely can't know, okay? So I've been in MMA since the beginning, since the pre-sale. Oops, I'll get used to this thing eventually. Obviously, we've gone up, we've gone down, we've done a bunch of things, but consistently higher highs and higher lows. Right around here, it came down on this little consistent run down. I was like, all right, what's going on here? And then we had this crazy candle that brought us way up. Now, we're looking at the 1 hour chart, right? Had this crazy candle that brought us up, and I was like, okay, well, maybe we're on our way. But then we consolidated. I can blow this up a little bit, this little section here, right? Consolidated, and then took another trip up, okay? Came down a little bit, up and down, up and down. It's done a bunch of things, okay? But we went up, we came down, we consolidated, but even as we consolidated, we kept going up, came up a little bit, came back down, hit this line. And that's when I first drew this line, this trend line. I drew it from here to here, and I said, okay, this is the trajectory that we seem to be on, okay? And then it bounced up from there and it went crazy, okay? Moved up and down a little bit, little consolidation. Then we had this really, really big one where we got up to almost, 0.025 cents, right? So this was just really like yesterday, okay? We hit that, topped off, and then boom, big red candle, followed by another big red candle. I said, okay, now we are in a downward trend. So I took that line and I extended it for the hell of it. Now imagine this line was just sticking out here into obscurity for no particular reason because we were way up here, right? And as I slept and as the day went on and then I went to sleep, I noticed that this came down, and what did it do? Boom. Bounced right off of that line, and now we're on our way back up again. So I'll tell you, here is, I'm not really fast with these charts, so let me do this. Here is the section that I'm watching. I'd say from here to here, and then come over, okay? Here's where I'm watching. What are we going to... Here we go again. What are we going to do when we get up into this box? Now, again, looking at the chart, we're on a trajectory, but we've been going up and down, up and down. A lot of things are going to determine what we're going to do when we get into that box. So what's happening right now? Well, we have the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF that we're anticipating is going to be approved. And that's going to happen, that's supposed to happen, I think somewhere the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks of January, we could get that approval. Now, the approval isn't guaranteed, but with everything that's kind of come to light and some things that have been said by some higher ups in the government, it looks like we're probably going to get that approval. So maybe we can expect that. Even BlackRock has been moving some things around in anticipation of this ETF. And there's a date floating out there about the 3rd. And then a couple of days after that, they're expecting the decision, which again, approval, hopefully, right? So that's looming. Second quarter of 2004, we'll be looking to the Bitcoin halving. That's looming. These things are foundational things. If these two things, well, the halving is going to happen. If we also get the ETF approval, those two things are very foundational in that they will help to lift all of crypto. Okay, the entire crypto market cap, they will bring it all up because I think you'll start to see Bitcoin begin to rise. Okay, so we have that happening. With MMA itself, well, right after, like next, by the end of this week coming up, we should have the offline beta, the game, a playable game. When I say offline, it means you can't run around and shoot each other yet, but there will be bots. You can actually play the game, and there will be bots. You can go and run around and play and shoot and have a good time. That's going to be awesome because then when the team is talking to investors and partnerships and different, not investors, but partnerships or whatever, there's actually something that they can actually show them, a full game that they can actually get in and play now. A lot of these influencers, a lot of these gaming influencers have maybe been waiting to have something to actually play, to see that it's real, to have the controller or the keyboard in your hand and be able to walk around this whole map and shoot people and have full playability, right? So that's happening. Within, I think, like the first week of 2024, we have a CEX to, I'm sorry, this is going to happen right after Christmas, right? Which is in a couple of days. So right after Christmas, we'll also be announcing a CEX that MMA is going to be listed on. I don't know what the CEX is. They have an NDA. They've already signed. It's a done deal. It's done. But they can't announce it. This happens all the time. The CEX wants to announce first, right? Once they do that or they give permission, then the team can make an official announcement. We'll find out who it is. Listen, it's not going to be Binance. It's not going to be, any huge CEX, but it's going to be a CEX. So it's a CEX listing. That's a beautiful thing, okay? It continues to build. So we have all these positive things happen that tell me maybe we can do something like this, right? Maybe we can get up into this section and, we might bounce off here again, okay? Come back down and then take off, all right? Now I'm looking at this over here. So we came up to this section, we came back down, bounced off of that section and then took off, right? So we could have that similar kind of thing happen. That's possible. All right, let me get rid of that one. Nope. I really don't know how to do this. Anyway, yeah, that could be one scenario that could happen. We don't know for sure. We could, I'll just draw these and leave them in there, right? So we could have something like this, okay? We could skip that altogether, break right through and take off, right? We could come somewhere up in here, bounce back down and maybe come back down to my original trend line, right? And then bounce up. If we stay on that trajectory, which we seem to have, that's another option, okay? Or we could bounce somewhere in here. If we break through that trend line, then we can come back down to, we can really come back down to anywhere. There are a couple other lines that I had drawn in here that were a little lower. We probably can't see them. But we can do something like that. There's so many different options of what actually is going to happen. With everything supporting it, I think personally, the more likely options are a little bounce maybe within that field and then a new all-time high. That's what I'm looking for, especially with these announcements that are coming up, the release of the beta. It only makes sense. If it drops down, it is the Christmas season. Christmas will be over pretty soon. Christmas isn't necessarily a huge time for crypto. People are taking money out to buy Christmas presents, or they're not putting any money in because they're buying Christmas presents. But we'll see what happens. A lot of uncertainty, okay? Waiting for the ETF. We're going now into election season or an election year for the United States, a presidential election, changing, hopefully, the administration. And again, it's not to be political. I actually voted for Biden. I have no problem saying that. But he hasn't done a great job. Migrants flowing in like crazy. The economy, not that great. I mean, things aren't doing that well. And even if he did well, he'd be so old going into another term, it would be a risky proposition, right? So I'm anticipating a change. We don't know it, but I'm anticipating it. And if we go Republicans generally are more crypto friendly than liberals. Okay, so that's another thing that could potentially help us to really have one hell of a bull market right now. All right, so these are some of the things that are happening. These are my opinions. This is what I'm noticing. And that's my idea of, for those of you who have already left ELMO or are considering leaving ELMO because, well, so much focus is being put on MMA. Focus is being put on MMA because GameFi is huge. And if we can build the ecosystem with strong games and utilities and different things, this is going to keep ELMO in the game for the long term, okay? That's the plan. That's what's happening. That's all I've got to say about it, all right? Listen, I want everybody, because I doubt I'll talk to you before then, so I want everybody to have a really, really good holiday season, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is that you celebrate. Spend it with your family, and I hope that you have a really great time. And I think we're done with work. There's a couple straggly things to do, but I think we're done, unless some emergency comes up or some big project comes up. I think we're done for the season. So you'll probably be seeing a lot more of me starting, after Christmas or maybe into the new year. Whether that's good or bad is up to you. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Ciao.